I feel like shit.
Monday, happy days. Tuesday, Wednesday, happy days.
It's just one of those
happy days. The weekend comes, let's not go up.
It's just one of those days where you don't want to wake up. Everything is everybody sucks. You don't really know why, but you want to justify ripping someone's head off. No human contact, and if you interact, your life is on contract. Your best bet is
Knock it off, you scum bucket.
it's just one of those days. It's just one of those.
Happy days.
It's just one of those.
Happy days.
It's just one of those
Happy
days.
The weekend comes, let's not go up. Ready to make
It's just one of those days, feeling like a freight train. First one to complain, leaves with a bloodstain. Damn right, I'm a maniac. You better shoot, cause I'm fucking up your program. And if you're stuck up, you just locked up. That's the line to get fucked up. Your best bet is to stay away, motherfucker. It's just,
I'm losing my cool.
it's all about it.
happy days.
It's just one of those,
Happy days.
it's just one of those days.
The weekend comes, let's not go up. Ready to make
Feel like shit. My suggestion is keep the distance. Right now I'm dangerous. Right now I'm dangerous.
Something's happening to the bonds.
My day keeps going this way and this way.
I'm gonna pop you one so you'll start playing games.
Give me something great. Give me something great. I hope you know I got a chainsaw. A chainsaw. A motherfucking chainsaw.
What?
So come and get it.
What we got here is a case of mistaken identity, you know? See, now this here is
Not Robert.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Chief Moody, and welcome to episode 98 of the Mood of the Nation podcast. I hope everyone is doing well so far. I hope you've all had a great day today. Some of you have actually had pretty good weather up here. I mean, it wasn't the worst weather we've had. There was maybe a sprinkles of showers here and there, but ultimately speaking, it was actually pretty decent weather. I mean, it's not like, you know, the summer weather we've had for the past couple of weeks, or maybe 3 or 4 weeks. I'm not entirely too sure. Maybe the lighting is getting a bit dim. I'll see if I can sort that in just a moment here. But hopefully, I know it's a bit weird to do the show at 7 p.m., but obviously, as I mentioned before, work commitments. Obviously, I'm going to be there at the start of 8 o'clock every morning from Monday through Friday. And then I do finish at 6 p.m. But what has been happening as of late is that I've been finishing up a lot earlier than usual. Sometimes I'll finish about say like 5 o'clock. Sometimes I'll finish at 5:30. Sometimes even depending on the day and depending on what needs to be done, I'll actually even finish around about say 4:30 in the afternoon, which is actually not too bad. But again, that ultimately depends on what needs to be done and whether or not if it could be done fast or not. So just for now, for the time being, it might be up until October, maybe December, but we'll give or take. It's back to a regular Monday through Friday shift, 8 o'clock till 6, maybe earlier than usual. I'm not entirely too sure. And then every Thursday episode from now on until then, it will be at 7 p.m. up until 9 p.m. Well, 9 p.m., maybe 8:30. I'm not entirely too sure, but I'll see if I can push it for about 9 p.m. tonight. Sunday's episodes will still be the same, 5 p.m. till 7. That way, at 7 o'clock, you can then move over to watch other streams, say like PA or the Nationals team, again, which is part of PA, or Scott's Armor, or DJ, aka Resisting the Lies, if he does streams on a Sunday, so on and so forth. Whoever does streams on a Sunday, I think even also Ragnar Ironspear does a stream on a Sunday as well. So there we go. Before we get started, let me have a look and see who's in the chat just now. And I'll see if I can sort out the lighting. I think it's getting a little bit dim at the moment. We have Exile Viking in the chat. Hello, how are you doing? Thank you very much for watching the show. Good evening, Chief Moody and fellow Moodlings. How y'all this slightly muggy, overcast evening? Yeah, as I said, not too bad. Hopefully the weather will be a lot better tomorrow, considering it's going to be Friday tomorrow, but we'll need to wait and see with that. English Rose is in the chat with us. How you doing, English Rose? Thank you very much for watching the show as per usual. Hello, everyone. I hope you're all well, or all are well. Thank you very much, and hope you're doing well as well, of course. Thank you very much. We even also have Streaky Bacon as well. Inshallah, Chief, may you never marry a camel. Inshallah, Streaky Bacon. Thank you very much for that. Ralphie, Salam, Chief. Toby Radley, Shalom, Toby. How you doing? Ralphie as Salam Alaikum. I think that's how you say it. If not, my apologies. I'm not master of pronunciation. I do try, of course. We have Rory Herbert in the chat. Hello, Rory Herbert. Thank you very much for watching the show. Chief loves Arab greetings. I do, Streaky Bacon. Indeed, I do. So thank you very much for that. The Earl of Stair. How you doing? Thank you very much for watching the show. I like volcanoes. How you doing? Thank you very much for watching the show. Let me see here. Keith Grant. Hello again, Keith. Thank you very much for watching the show. Joe Marsh is in the chat. Hello, Joe. Thank you very much for watching the show. Joe Marsh, like. Thanks very much for watching the show, Joe. Let me see. 16 likes so far. Yes. If you haven't liked the stream already, I'm sure there'll be more people coming along. I mean, I think even they'll be surprised. Wait, you're live at 7 p.m. tonight? Yes. They'll probably catch it maybe in the replay. I'm not too sure, but hopefully more people will come along. As I'm seeing just now, 23 people are watching the stream, which is not too bad. Oh, sorry, 24, which is not too bad. I mean, obviously, I can't ask for more. So there we go. At least people are actually watching the stream. So there we go. Who else is with us? Rill is in the chat. Hello, Rill. Thank you very much for watching the show. Durham Fox is with us. How you doing? Thank you very much for watching. Chris Jones is with us. How you doing? Peter Walker is with us. How you doing, Peter? Thank you very much for watching the show. Kingdom of Vinland. How you doing, Kingdom? Thank you very much for watching Mood of the Nation. Chief Moody, Prometheum hails, it's a shame how anti-whiteism has affected the military, although on the other hand, why should we fight for a country that doesn't care about us? Very fair point, and that's definitely something we'll cover later on during the show with the main topic about the RAF going full woke, so to speak. And I know it's already been talked about on previous shows like PWR and also PA Talk, but it's a bit fitting maybe someone else like myself can maybe talk about as well. So I'm going to see if I can sort out the lighting in a few moments, but hold on one sec. It must be dark at 7 p.m. in Scotland, or Chief is broadcasting from a brothel. Well, to be fair, when it comes to that, the camera quality I have at the moment is not the best, so it is in potato vision. I do apologize. At some point, I'll definitely see if I can maybe invest in a better camera for the stream, of course. So hopefully I'll definitely be getting that sorted, saving on energy bills a lot. Well, that might be part of it, to be quite honest, but that might be part of it. Let me see here. Scott's Armor's in the chat. Speaking of which, hello, Scott's Armor. Thank you very much for watching the show. Appreciate you being here. Jojo Gizmo is in the chat with us. Aye, lads and lasses. How you doing, Jojo? Thank you very much for watching. Aunt Sally is in the chat with us. How you doing, Aunt Sally? Evening, everyone. I'm listening and walking the dogs. Can't be in the chat. Need to watch my step, lest I fall down a ditch in the woods. Fair enough. But thank you very much for listening to Mood of the Nation. Steve Double M is with us. How you doing, Steve? Thank you very much for watching Mood of the Nation. Bill Athling is with us. How you doing, Bill? Thank you very much for watching the show. Martin W. Hello, Martin. Thank you very much for watching Mood of the Nation. Let me see here. Who else? I think that's me all up to date with the chat so far, which is actually pretty good so far. A lot of familiar faces, of course, as per usual, which is a good thing, I would definitely say with that. The chief hasn't paid the Lecky bill. It's not that. So let me see. The Woodlander is with us. How you doing, Woodlander? Thank you very much for watching, or Woody, wherever you want to be called. So thank you very much for watching. Gammon Sandwich is in the chat with us. How you doing, Gammon? Thank you very much for watching the show. Sorry I'm late, been distracted. No worries, you're actually just in time. I've not started anything whatsoever. And as a matter of fact, I'm going to see if I can maybe sort out the lighting in a moment here. Let me see if I can maybe move this along. So that way I can maybe bring something that might... So dark, low, very true. Yeah, if you guys can Oh, sorry, 1 second. Durham Fox, Chief Ree, I saw you on a Gus in Lazzarotti vid, taking part in a banner drop over a road bridge. Great stuff, mate. Well, thank you very much for that. Thank you very much. On a Gus in Lazzarotti, I don't think. Well, I know we did a banner drop at a bridge. I think it's the M8 bridge, but that's all I know with that. So, but thank you for that. So, turn lights on. Yes, if you guys can bear with me 1 second, I'm gonna see if I can sort out the lighting for a moment. Of course, you can still hear me talk while I'm getting some light here. I actually thought the windows might actually be helpful, but apparently not. Let me see here. I'll bring this along with me and see. I actually did. Oh, damn it! I actually did use this before on the show, so hopefully this may be helpful. Again, hopefully it doesn't tip over. Right. Hold on 1 second. Maybe bring this along. That'll be it. Right. Let's see if we can do this. Right. Plug that in. Let's see if that will work. I thought maybe the lighting would be okay without it, but apparently not. So, yeah, you can see me a lot better. Perfect. Again, might not be the best lighting, but it's the best thing I have at the moment. So hopefully that might be okay. Let me see. He's in a Scottish bothy or squatting. There we go. So, let me see here. Is he in one of them little houses? No, I'm not. Let me see if I can maybe. Yeah, it's not the best, but again, it's the best we could have at the moment here. So, better now, Chief. Well, there we go. Yeah, even people are saying it's a lot better now. So it's better than nothing. So, there we go. Perfect. Right then, where to begin? So I have 2 articles to talk about. I also have something in my folder for today's episode that did caught my attention on Telegram, which when I first looked at this, I thought there's no way this is real. This has to be a satire of some sort. Rigor Mortis in the chat. Sorry, real quick. Rigor Mortis, thank you very much for watching Mood of the Nation. Chief is in a contacting the contacting oh dear. It's like a candlelight chat. Yeah, well, funny enough, it's like a what do you call them? It's a source of light, basically. So that should be all right. So very cozy indeed, English Rose. Very cozy indeed. So hopefully that will set the mood, if you will. So where was I? Yeah, so I've got a folder for today's episode that's all covering one particular topic. Like I said, I came across this on Telegram, and it's like a leaflet that's been passed around on social media. Now, this pamphlet, I think it's like a leaflet or a pamphlet that's been going around schools. I'm not entirely too sure if this has been going around every single school across the UK, or if it's specifically in England or Wales or Northern Ireland or maybe even Scotland. But when I first looked at this, I thought there's no way in hell this is real. Like, hold on a minute. Sorry, that should be right here. Dark again, all seems okay though. Yeah, again, it's the best I can do at the moment. I'll see if I can maybe invest something with that as well for future episodes with lighting. But yes, as I was saying, there's no way I thought this was real. This has to be some form of parody or satire. But considering we live in a complete utter clown world, I wouldn't be surprised if this is actually 100% real. But now, before I get any further with that, there's something I almost forgot to mention. Of course, please like the stream if you haven't done so already. Please subscribe to the channel if you haven't done so already. In fact, I almost keep forgetting about this every single time. Down there, as you can see on your screen, there's all of the platforms I'm also on. Oh, crap, I didn't mean to do that. So, of course, like Telegram, Twitter, Gab, you name it, all of that. It's like a scene. It might come off as that, yeah. So, that fake Russian leaflet about pedo as well. Well, see, that's the thing. I don't know if it's maybe real or fake, but I actually thought it might be, like a parody or a satire. But we'll have a look at that just now, and then we'll see with that. Now, again, before I go any further, please subscribe to the channel if you haven't done so already. Follow me on other platforms you can see on your screen just now, like Instagram and all that. Also, follow me on Odysee. I would highly recommend you do, just in case if something does happen with my YouTube channel one day. I mean, I don't know if it might, but if it does, there's like something like a backup if you want to watch future episodes of Mood of the Nation or anything, say with future videos in the works. Please like the stream if you haven't done so already. Also, share the stream if you can on all of your other platforms. Get more people maybe invested, maybe watching the streams for themselves. One last thing to mention before I move on from that. Of course, if you like to support me financially, say like donations or anything like that at all, down in the description down below of this stream, you'll see, of course, that to see more or whatever, you'll see links for both my Ko-fi page and my PayPal accounts. So if you want to follow me on Ko-fi and of course send a donation, you could do so there. Even if you want to send in a donation through PayPal directly, again the link will be down below. Again, please don't feel obligated as if you have to donate. If you want to, the option is there. If you want to donate and support me financially, I appreciate your kind generosity. If you don't donate, again, that's completely fine with that. Again, the option is there. Don't feel obligated. I'm not going to lose any sleep or anything like that at all if I don't receive anything whatsoever. As long as I'm making the show, and if you guys are happy, that's all I care about with that. Now then, with that being said, let's move on to the first thing at hand. Now, I do have my folder here about what I'm going to show. Now, some of you might have seen this already. Let me see here. Let's share the screen real quick. Now, some of you might have seen this already on maybe Telegram or maybe even Twitter, whatever platform you normally go on in this case. But let me just bring this up real quick just now. So start off with this. Now, as I said, I came across this on Telegram. We'll have a look at this like, scene by scene. Now, what you're seeing here is a new, I'm assuming it's maybe like a pamphlet, or I don't want to call it a leaflet. A leaflet is something what PA normally gives out, which is like a piece of paper that has information at the front, information at the back, post it, and then that would be it. This is something that came to people's attention. Now, someone, I can't remember who already said that this might be like a bit of a parody from like Russia or something like that. I don't know. We'll see. The thing with that is I'm not entirely too sure if this is supposed to be real or fake. But as I said, we live in a complete clown world, so I really wouldn't be surprised for a second that this is something that a lot of the educational institutions are trying to force this down into children's throats. So as you can see here, it says, or it reads, what to do if a stranger comes up to you on the street? Which of course is a very reasonable question to ask, like to any child. Obviously, the logical answer would be is the child would shout for help, report to the parents or any nearby like adult who can help them out with that. Or, well, when I say that, maybe like a neighbor or like a friend or family member or friend of the families, that sort of idea. Again, very, very reasonable way of thinking that. In fact, I've even shared this on Telegram before, and some people brought up a cartoon back in the 60s or the 70s, I think it was. So I wasn't old enough to remember that, but I do remember seeing this cartoon on a documentary on Channel 4 called 100 Greatest Cartoons. And as some of you in the chat might remember this, it's called Charlie Says. Now, the premise of this cartoon, I think it was also intended to be like a PSA type of cartoon or a public service announcement, where there's this boy who has a cat, like a ginger cat, I think. They go out in their little adventures and whatnot, and then it's all to do with basically have any type of dangers they might come across. What would a child would do in that situation? And then Charlie Says, hence the title of the cartoon or the PSA, would give kids advice on if you ever come across these types of situations, then here's what you do and all of that. I think it even brings up one segment where it talks about the idea of stranger danger and all of that. So if a stranger comes up to the child asking them, would you like to come with me, or would you like to would like to see some puppies? I think there was a clip about that I remember seeing in that cartoon, again, just for like research purposes, or even what I've seen that in that documentary. Again, in the cartoon, sorry, I'm just moving the microphone a little bit. In the cartoon, it would explain that this is what you do in that situation. Just don't engage, run away if you can, go back to your parents, maybe report to an authority figure and all of that. Of course, very rational, very normal way of thinking about it. Well, considering, of course, today's day and age, how the political climate we're in just now, I wouldn't be surprised if some of these lefties types of people would probably view a cartoon like Charlie Says, particularly that particular episode where it talks about that, would probably see that as a form of bigotry. Because in the next page here, what it reads in the next pages here. So here we have 3 scenes about, again, more in depth with the situation. So the first rule, so of course, I was just kind of going back. What to do if a stranger comes up to you on the street. And then the next page it reads, do not be afraid. If a stranger walks up to you, no need to be scared. Usually they don't mean any harm. Well, I mean, you don't really know that. I mean, like, and that, especially nowadays, of how. So what I've noticed when it comes to, say, platforms like Twitter, like say the map community, how just out in the open they really are about the fantasization of children and all of that, but they will scream bloody murder like they would never harm a child or anything like that at all, and just how out of the open they are becoming in this day and age. In fact, I've spoken about this on the show many times. I know many people in our circles talk about this all the time, but the film that came out on Netflix, was it a year ago, maybe 2 years ago, or something like that? That film, of course, would be Cuties. Some people would say that's a step in more the establishment. All these filmmakers and so on and so forth are trying to normalize pedophilia. So with this, I don't want to come off like a far-right conspiracy theorist, but, I wouldn't be surprised if this is, again, another attempt. Again, even if this is supposed to be real or fake, I don't know. But I wouldn't be surprised at this point that this is supposed to be another attempt to try and normalize pedophilia. Because in the next part here, as it reads, do not scream or cry. This can hurt the person's feelings. 3, do not call him a pedophile. This can be just as offensive as the N-word. So basically, basically pedophile is the new N-word apparently in this day and age. You can't make this up, folks. I mean, even if this is supposed to be a parody, which I mean, I don't really know, but today's age with it being complete clown world, you can't really tell anymore. You just can't. There is a final page with this, and then we'll move on to the next topic. The fourth and final rule is try to get to know him. Why? Wait, why would a child need to get to know this stranger who they just came across? Like, you don't know the person. And underneath that it reads, he just wants to make new friends just like you. Like, unbelievable. It's like, just why would the child need to get to know the stranger better? I mean, they don't know the stranger. They don't know the intents the stranger may have. So why would it be a good idea to not scream or cry and not call him a pedophile or run away and try to get to know him? Funny, I find it funny how it's always a him. It's never like maybe possibly like a her, that might be engaged in this type of degeneracy or anything like that at all. And always, again, maybe this is me looking way too deep into it, but I always find it funny how with these types of PSA, if you want to call it that, it's always these types of scenarios, these types of people, like pedophilia and all of that, seem to be portrayed more towards like white people regarding to this, which, I mean, considering we all know what happened with the grooming gang scandal, for a few years back, maybe of course still going on just now, places like in Rotherham and Telford and all that. I've covered that in a few episodes ago, but I mean, I guess that's maybe too close to home. I guess maybe we can't exactly do that, but anyway. So that's that. So let me just come off of that. So yeah, again, not entirely too sure if it's supposed to be. I thought it might be satire. I honestly think that this is like a form of satire again, because I don't really think that anyone would print this and think, yeah, this may be okay to teach the children. You know, it's absurd. Kenny Henny is in the chat, as well as Kitchen Skillet and Ochiai Channel 1. How you doing, guys? Thank you very much for watching Mood of the Nation. Then, for no reason at all, Charlie had monkeypox at school. Oh, Rick and Mortis, no. Ah, dear. Yeah, even Exile Viking, there's no way that rubbish is for real. Well, again, I don't know. English Weather, how you doing? Thank you very much for watching Mood of the Nation. And also Daniel Dube, thank you very much for that, for watching. Is this supposed to be in Britain? I mean, I'm assuming so, but again, I wouldn't be surprised. I think this is fate, but what is concerning is that would any of us be overly shocked if it was genuine? I don't think we would be shocked, to be honest with you, because even then, I don't know if it's real or not, but Roscoe's in the chat with us. How you doing? Sorry, I just, because there's no way people would would print that and think, yeah, that this would seem to be okay to teach children and all of that. But again, considering, again, my apologies if it sounds like I'm repeating myself here, but in this day and age, you can never tell which is real or which is fake when it comes to that. So it's a shame, but that's pretty much the basic gist of it. Let me see here. Sorry, I just keep a lot of notifications on Telegram. Renew Britannia's live, so but it's good to see that he was okay for me to go live at the same time as him, so that should be fine and dandy with that. Anyway, we'll move on from there with that. It's a piece of propaganda garbage. Again, you can't really tell if it's real or not, but I mean, again, we live in a complete clown world where anything can happen at this point, anything at all. So, anyway, moving on from there, we'll talk about another topic or an article that's again already been covered on previous shows like PWR and PA Talk, which even I was a bit kind of hesitant to cover it myself because obviously it's been talked about by other people in their circles. But I think it's something that does need to be talked about at this current time with that, because it's a recent tragedy that happened by a gentleman by the name of Thomas. Sorry, what was his last name again? Sorry, it is Thomas O'Halloran, I think is his name. Yeah, Thomas O'Halloran, an 87-year-old pensioner who goes about in a mobility scooter. He's been recently murdered by a non-white. And of course, as per usual, when these types of tragedies happened, the mainstream media will briefly talk about it, but then after that, we'll just sweep it under the rug. However, if the races were completely swapped, then of course we would never hear the end of it. You know, systematic racism, this, white privilege, that, and so on and so forth. The same exact kind of rhetoric we would hear every single time. Let me see if I can get the article up here just now. Now, this article right here is by the Daily Mail, and thankfully this was brought to my attention by English Rose, of course, who I would imagine is in the chat right now. So, English Rose, thank you very much for bringing forward this article to me. And with that being said, if anyone in the chat who watches my show on a regular basis, if there's any particular articles or anything like that at all, or you want me to talk about, just let me know through private messages or anything like that at all on Telegram or Twitter, wherever you prefer, or any platform you would prefer. And I'll see if I can maybe talk about that on the next episode or any future episodes for that matter. Let me see. Footballers won't be kneeling for him. No, they won't. They will not be, Keith. They're definitely not. Hold on one sec. I'm going to... That's better. There we go. Sorry. I had to take a quick sip of my water. So let me just share the screen once again, and then we'll get started with this article. This is from the Mail Online, or the Daily Mail. Man is arrested over mobility scooter murder. Cops quiz suspect 44 after a fatal stabbing of beloved 87-year-old busker who had been raising cash for Ukraine victims of war outside Tesco. A 44-year-old man has been arrested on suspicion of murder after Thomas O'Halloran was stabbed to death. The 87-year-old busker was well known in Greenford, West London, for raising cash for Ukraine. Scotland Yard says suspect was arrested at the property in nearby Southall early this morning. This article was published today, in fact. There we go. A 44-year-old man has been arrested on suspicion of murder after a beloved busker, Thomas O'Halloran, was stabbed to death on a mobility scooter in West London, amid mounting anger over a rising tide of violent crime across the capital. Well, that's Sadiq Khan's London for you, but that's beside the point, of course. Well, I guess it is. It definitely does tie into what we're talking about with that, of course. Anyway, the 87-year-old grandfather was fatally attacked in Greenford on Tuesday while raising money for Ukraine war victims in the latest suspected murder to shake Britain's lawless capital that has seen 6 murder investigations in the last 4 days alone. That's really bad. I mean, that really goes to show just how completely screwed London really is. London is completely gone at this point. Completely gone. I mean, what was it? 6 murder investigations in the last 4 days. I mean, how can anyone defend that? You know, especially, well, I would imagine that most of these cases that are happening across London are mainly being perpetrated by non-whites or people who came to London either legally or illegally. I mean, how can anyone defend that? How can anyone, for that matter, defend that? Mr. O'Halloran, a member of the Irish community in Ireland, and was described as well liked and well loved, was often seen busking with a harmonica and an accordion outside of a Tesco store and South Greenford railway station with a blue and yellow collection box. I think there's a video attached to this as well, because obviously there's videos of floating online of Thomas O'Halloran, playing the accordion or the harmonica, again to try and raise support for the victims of the Ukraine war. And that started to rain. Sorry, I just hear the rain pouring down. Sorry, my bad. Anyway, moving forward with there. The Metropolitan Police today said that a suspect has been arrested at a property in nearby Southall early this morning and remains in custody. Officers yesterday released images of a dangerous individual seen fleeing the scene of the attack on Mr. O'Halloran. Strange how they never really bothered to mention the race of the perpetrator, because again, if the shoe was on the other foot, if it was the other way around, obviously we would never hear the end of it. We would, the mainstream press, the lefty types, and all of that would talk about white privilege, this and systemic racism here and there. I mean, you would never hear the end of it. Detective Chief Inspector Jim Eastwood, who is leading the investigation, said, "I would like to thank the public for their overwhelming support following this horrific incident. As a result of the release of a CCTV image yesterday, an arrest has been made, and this investigation is progressing at pace." And there's the image of Thomas O'Halloran, stabbed to death while riding his mobility scooter on Tuesday. And of course, there's a scene of the crime. I wonder if this article would cover why exactly was he stabbed? Like, what was the reason for it? I actually might see it here. How the horrific event unfolded. So police covers his mobility scooter. So the first part here, as you can clearly see, from 12 p.m. to 3:30 p.m., Thomas O'Halloran, 87, busked for Ukrainian war victims outside Tesco Superstore in this area, Greenford. The second part here, drives his mobility scooter with Ukrainian emblem towards second busking spot at Greenford Station, but is stabbed en route near Railway Bridge. At around 3:43 p.m., CCTV captures moments after stabbing as he begs for help from passers-by before scooter veers into a tree where he dies. That's bad. It's horrible, that. thought there was a video. I'll play that in a moment here. And then lastly, number 4, suspect captured on CCTV running away here. So, of course, in this area right here. I would imagine maybe the CCTV was from one of the houses, like maybe like built outside of the house. And that's where they got it, obviously. But anyway, what we'll do is we'll have a look at this video here, and then we'll cover the rest of the article, and then we'll move on to the other topic at hand. Let's see here from that moment that this video is about 1 minute and 26 seconds long. So, of course, it's not entirely too long regarding to that. So we'll just play it just now. So 3, 2, 1.
Johnson. Lovely. Well done, Tom.
There we go. Oh, I don't know if I might want to play that again, just in case if it's like horrific or anything like that at all. But that right there, it moved on to the CCTV image of what happened there. It's been like that for decades. Let me see. I think there were some people correcting me in the chat when it comes to the pronunciations, but he was playing this accordion outside Tesco and had a cash bucket tapped to the front of his chair. So could that maybe be the reason why the stabbing occurred? I mean, if it is, that's just sick. I mean, obviously, Thomas O'Halloran obviously doesn't fall in the same political views as say like myself or people in the chat. Obviously, that being said, it's still a tragedy nonetheless. And I think anyone who attacks someone, and tries to attempt to steal money from them when the person, in this case Thomas O'Halloran, is trying to do like a good cause, that's really scummy. That really scummy. That what else was there? Anyway, the pronunciation, sorry, of this. Let's see, Ailing, right? Okay, that's fine. Perryvale, that's completely fine. Thank you, Gamma Sandwich, for the correction of the pronunciations, but my apologies for that. Was that the end? No, it's not the end of the article, right? That's fine. Let's have a look. So we'll just finish it off from there, and then we'll give more of a take with that. Mr. O'Halloran's family have been updated with this development and continue to be supported by specially trained officers. It comes after officers were called to Caton Road in Greenford, West London on Tuesday to report of a stabbing, and Mr. O'Halloran was declared dead at the scene. Detectives believe Mr. O'Halloran was stabbed in Western Avenue at about 4 p.m., but before managing to travel around 75 yards on his mobility scooter to Runnymede Gardens, where he flagged down a member of the public for help. Mr. O'Halloran was originally from see these names, by the way. I'm sorry, my apologies. He's from west of Ireland, I'll say that. So the local community in Clare, God damn it, expressed their deep shock following the pensioner's death. He is survived by his family, including a sister, 2 brothers, nieces, and nephews. Local Fine Gael Senator Martin Conway said Mr. Halloran visited Ireland regularly and that his death has left his home community in this area, in deep shock and sadness. I'm not trying to make light or anything like this at all, but obviously this is a very serious and a very horrible subject matter that happened. This is a case of say, a white person being attacked and being killed by a non-white. Of course, the mainstream media, as I mentioned, would briefly touch upon this, but then we'll quickly just move on to something else. But if the shoe was on the other foot, as I mentioned earlier on, you would never hear the end of it. Mr. Conway noted the passionate musician was very popular in Greenford and often busked for charity. Footage on social media shows Mr. O'Halloran busking to raise money for Ukraine months before the killing. He could be seen playing his accordion and smiling with a makeshift blue and yellow collection box strapped to his frame in the video posted online in June. Harrowing footage released yesterday showed the much-loved busker 20 minutes before he was attacked in broad daylight in an alleyway next to the busy A40 Western Avenue. The footage was taken at 3:48 p.m. as he passed a newsagent's shop close to the superstore. Police were called 18 minutes after at 6 minutes past 4 p.m. or 4:06 p.m. after Mr. O'Halloran was ambushed as he headed towards Greenford Station a mile away. Former Labour MP Stephen Pound paid tribute to the pensioner as an ex-constituent whom he knew from the busker's regular public presence in the area. He told GB News, "Tom was a real local character. He would be outside Greenford Station playing the accordion, occasionally the harmonica. He was a sweet, lovely man. He was well liked and well loved, but above all, he was one of those characters who would cement an area." It comes as London Mayor Sadiq Khan, what does he have to say about growing pressure to crack down on violent crime last night after Mr. O'Halloran was knifed in an assuming suburb in broad daylight. So it's good to see that there's people like calling out Sadiq Khan, like, look, this is getting beyond a joke. There's like multiple murders across London. As we even covered on within this article just now, there's been 6 murder investigations in the past 4 days, or within 4 days. And I think at this point, people are just like, look, enough is enough. We're sick to death of all this happening. We're sick to death of all these murders are happening, and all the killings across the city. It's about time someone actually does something about it. And it's good to see that people are actually calling out Sadiq Khan for this, because Sadiq Khan, he doesn't really give a damn. He doesn't give a fuck one way or another. So as I said, it's good to see that people are actually taking a stand and saying, look, enough is enough with this bullshit. Enough is enough. There's more images of Thomas O'Halloran, the crime scene that happened. There's a last part here, and then we'll move on from there. Tories accused the left-wing leader of doing next to nothing following 6 murders in 4 days and 59 so far this year. 59 murders in 1 year so far. That's and that's in London, by the way. That's really bad. That's actually quite a shocking number with that. And this was even more bad about it, or even more just horrific about this, is that there's a possibility that more will happen, you know, whether it be today or tomorrow or maybe throughout this week or next week, you know, maybe towards the end of the year there might be more murders that happen. I don't know, but that's really bad. That just see Osama. Right, okay, never mind. Sorry, I'm not trying to make light with that. I'm just reading the chat. But yeah, that's bad. Former policing minister Kit Malthouse called for Mr. Khan to consider introducing tough measures similar to those brought in by Boris Johnson when he was London mayor. Mr. Mulhouse, now Chancellor of the Duchy of Lancaster, told LBC radio station that London has been plagued by knife crime in the past and seems to be in the grip of it again. Well, I wonder what could be the reason for the rise of knife crimes across the city. I wonder if it's something to do with like more of these non-whites keep coming into to the city and basically do whatever the fuck they want. I mean, there was a video I remember watching this past week. I don't know if I played it. Actually, I might have played it on the last episode. I'm assuming it was in London. There was a lot of non-whites, more specifically, of course, black people being there who would loot and just take whatever they want from all of these shops or supermarkets, and they could just they think they could just get away with that. And this is the current state of London just now, and it's just only going to get worse from here, folks. He added, "I just hope that the mayor starts to take this as seriously as we did all those years ago and leads in hard." And there is the last part here. Anyone with footage of the incident is asked to upload it via an online form. Anyone who knows the man in the image or has details about the murder is asked to call the incident room on this number here, quoting, and of course, there we go with that. So, yes, that's another case of a white person being murdered by a non-white, which is only just going to get worse from here at this point. But there we go with that. So, what's said in the chat? Because I think there's some people in the chat who are from London. Could definitely say their piece about that as well. Let me see. Right now in London, there is someone getting murdered as we speak from Exile Viking. Yeah, and that's a horrible thing to think about, really. As I mentioned, 59 murders happened in London this year, and for all we know, that it could risen to even larger than that, which is just absolutely just horrible to think about. So I do think it is good to see that people are calling out Sadiq Khan, because, like I said, Sadiq Khan doesn't give a fuck what one way or another. Gamma Sandwich, Chief Moody, I don't just want Khan sacked. I want the post of London Mayor abolished. Having a London mayor has done us no good at all, and I'd rather it went back to a minister for London. Fair enough, yeah, definitely. I could definitely see your point with there. Keith Grant, I saw an article where a non-white got 97,000 for raping a girl. She only got 250 grand. Fucking hell. It's way worse than people think. Yeah, I would imagine it's not a good area to live in London, especially at this point in time. English Rose, real quick. The only time Khan will comment is if he can give it a racist, anti-British angle. Exactly. Yeah, he'll try and spin it around and stuff like, well, historically speaking, it's like, fuck off. Khan, sorry, from Streaky Bacon. Khan blame the murders on school holidays and very hot weather, Jats. You can't make that up, folks. Uchia in the chat, in life there are times that you want to kill somebody, but we don't do that because we just don't. Not applicable to the third world. Well, I mean, yeah, I think it's all to do with morals when it comes to that. It's just we just don't kill people because, for me, I wouldn't want to be murdered. I'm sure people in the chat would not want to be murdered themselves. It's just a case of you just don't do it. It's not. It's morally speaking, obviously, I don't support anything like murdering people or anything like that at all. As I said, I wouldn't want to be murdered. I wouldn't want my family members to be murdered. I wouldn't want my friends to be murdered. I wouldn't want people in the chat to be murdered. And I'm sure people in the chat, you yourselves, would not want to go through that. And I think, in a moral sense, that it's not a good thing. Well, obviously, you're taking a life away, and of course, for me, I'm very pro-life of all kinds. I don't want a life to be taken like that. That sort of idea. So. Let me see. London needs a purge. Yeah, I could see that. I could definitely see that. Streaky Bacon, I could murder a pine. Fair enough. Some of them lie about their age as well. Yeah. Lie about anything with that when it comes to that, of course. Let me see here. Sorry, I just got a notification. I think I've just received a donation tonight. It is. Sorry, just bear with me 1 second. I'm not going to mention the name, obviously, because obviously, like, for privacy's sake. But for the person who has donated, thank you very much for your kind generosity. They donated £5. Thank you very much for that. Greatly appreciate that. So there we go. So again, I won't mention the name again, just for like privacy sake or anything like that at all. But again, thank you very much for the £5 donation. I greatly appreciate that. What time is it now? Almost an hour into the show. Excellent. Right then, let's move on to the next. Sorry, excuse me. Well, actually, maybe the last thing I'll say is that obviously this is another tragic event that should never have happened. From what I've seen, someone mentioned it in the chat that like the possible reasoning of why this occurred. So now Sadiq Khan may cope with the idea of talking about, well, this is all because of hot weather and so on and so forth. But from what we've seen with the good deeds that Thomas O'Halloran, even though I don't agree with it politically, but I can admire someone who actually is trying to do like a good cause regarding to that, even though I don't agree with it politically with that. But from what I've gathered, from what I've seen with this event, I think it's too much of a coincidence that that the perpetrator who killed Thomas O'Halloran killed him just for the sake of it. I think it's something to do with the fact that Thomas O'Halloran was trying to do a good deed by, receiving donations and trying to give money to charity, especially for the victims of during the Ukrainian war. And the perpetrator saw that and thought, maybe I can actually maybe take that money, and then of course killing Thomas O'Halloran in the process. Which, I mean, if that really is the case, then the perpetrator is a complete utter scumbag for doing that. Again, even though I don't agree with it politically, but obviously this should never have occurred one way or another. This is all because of immigration. Well, yeah, I mean, it's a common factor with these murders that keep happening in London, even though I'm not from London myself. But from what I've heard from people who live in London or once lived in London, but then left because of the whole immigration, London is no longer really a British city anymore. It's mainly it's overrun by these immigrants, regardless if they came there legally or illegally. So it really goes to show that this whole multiculturalism or diversity is not really our greatest strength, is it? It's manufactured mess by the establishment. So. Gamma Sandwich, I was unable to afford to leave London, so it really upsets me when some people tell me to get out. We're not all millionaires down here. No, that's fair enough. I understand that people want to leave London, but they can't because of financial reasons or because of personal reasons or anything like that at all. And I can understand that. All will say to people who live in London, currently living in London just now, what I would say is definitely stay safe and just look after yourselves. Hopefully don't become a victim of any of these future crimes and that. Just definitely be careful when you're out there. So, No Name is in the chat. Hello, No Name. Thank you very much for watching Mood of the Nation. I left London. The area I lived in was safe in 2009, but devolved by 2020 to daylight, murders, and chaos. Rigor mortis as well. London is demographic ground zero. I feel bad for all of our lads there. Yeah, I do feel bad for people who are still living in London just now because of how bad it is. Sam Mealy is in the chat. Hello, Sam. How you doing? He writes. This is quite funny actually. Maybe to bring it on a lighter note, can we get a Moody lighting fund? Sam, yeah, you're quite a character, Sam. You're quite a character. Well, Sam, I mean, I did mention this at the beginning of the stream, but I've already received a donation already, but down in the description down below, there are links to my coffee and also to my PayPal account. So if people want to donate for my Moody Lighting Fund, as Sam Melia called it, then you could donate to me there if you want to. So there we go. Again, please don't feel obligated if you have to, because Sam said because of to get a lighting fund or whatever. But if you want to donate to me, then the option is there. If you don't want to donate, that's completely fine with that. But welcome into the chat, Sam. Thank you very much for watching the show. It was a war now. London definitely won't be bombed because of diversity by Keith Grant. Exactly. Yeah, I can see that. Mood lighting. Oh, well, there we go. I think What we'll do is it's approaching 8 o'clock. I want to move on to the next topic at hand. I'm not too sure if this might be the final topic for tonight, because I might want to maybe end it at 8:30. Maybe I'll push it to 9 o'clock, but we'll see from there. Oh, and also Toby Radley, I think he's still on the chat just now. Toby, do you want me to for the ending song tonight? Would you mind if I can play your remix of High Rate's song that you sent to me in one of my posts on Telegram? Because I had a listen to it earlier this week, and I actually did like that. Or I like it. Technically, not like past tense. So if you want me to play that during the show, I would be very happy to do so, if you don't mind with regard to that. So pretty cheap down here, mate, or as a response to Gamma Sandwich. So if you could respond within the chat, if you want me to play it, I'll be very happy to. If not, then I won't play it. I just thought I would bring that up as well. Yeah, play it. Okay, with that case, Toby, I'll play that song at the end of tonight's episode as the outro song. Thank you very much for that. Now then, let's move on to the possible final topic at hand here. I don't know if it might be the final. Maybe I'll stick around for maybe some questions that people want to ask me, but we'll definitely see with that. So let's move on to the RAF, or the Royal Air Force. The Royal Air Force has gone completely woke, apparently, from what we've seen as of late. Of course, I do have an article here. Now, as I mentioned, it's already been talked about within our circles, but I thought it was quite funny to talk about, and maybe also to bring it on a lighter note, because the thumbnail I have for today's episode is actually pretty funny when you have a close look into it. Bear in mind, I can't play an instrument, Chief Benito. No, that's completely fine, Toby. That's completely fine with that. I'm sure the people in the chat will listen to that song, and maybe, of course, we'll definitely see from there. I'm pretty sure that they'll like it themselves, but we'll see with that once the episode comes to an end. Play Bridges Not Walls. Yes, Bridges Not Walls. I am having withdrawals from not hearing it. We'll see with that. We'll see. Right, let me see if I can get the article up here. Now, this article is from Sky News. Hopefully it's working. It doesn't do anything weird because I got my VPN on. Right, here we go. Let me just share the screen real quick, and we'll have a look at this. RAF pauses job offers for white men to meet impossible diversity targets. Yes, it's all about the diversity quotas. We have to hire, or have to bring in more non-white men into the RAF, because we need to boost those diversity quotas and all of that gay shit. The alleged move has prompted the head of I can't speak tonight, sorry, of recruitment for the Royal Air Force, or RAF, herself a senior female officer, to resign in recent days in protests. Oh lordy, here, let's have a look at this. The head of the RAF recruitment has resigned in protest at an effective pause on offering jobs to white men recruits in favor of women and ethnic minorities. Defense sources have claimed. I wonder why she never included disabilities. I wonder, is she an ableist, or whatever the term they would use? But anyway, continuing from there, the senior female officer apparently handed in her notice in recent days amid concerns that any such restrictions on hiring, however temporary and limited, could undermine the fighting strength of the Royal Air Force, RAF, the sources said. They said the service was attempting to hit impossible diversity targets. The defense sources accused Air Chief Marshal Sir Mike Wigston, the head of the RAF, of appearing willing to compromise UK security at a time of growing threats from Russia and China in pursuit of albeit important goals such as improving diversity and inclusion. So you mean to tell me that there's a lot of tensions going on in Russia and China at the moment when it comes to Taiwan and all of that, especially what's kind of going on in America with the Biden administration. So you're telling me that that's not as important as, diversity quotas and all of that? Like, come on. It's like, yeah, I mean, there's a lot of growing tensions going on just now with the world, especially with Russia and China. But what's more important is we need to hire more black people. We need to hire more women into the RAF. Like, give me a break here, folks. Give me a break. Let me see here. They said, oh, sorry, 1 second. I don't know if it may have. Oh yeah, I've read the part here. I'll just move on to here. One of the defense sources noted how General Sir Patrick Sanders, the head of the army, has has likened today's security challenges to those in the build-up to the Second World War, warning that the UK is facing its 1937 moment. Right? Okay. I doubt that, but all right. Then you look at the head of the RAF, and he's prepared to break the operational requirement of the Air Force just to meet diversity targets, the source said. I think he needs to be hauled up by the Ministry of Defense and told, this is the defense agenda, get on it. Recruitment claims that prompted a response from Rishi Sunak, of all people, one of the two contenders vying to be the UK's next Prime Minister. Let's see, or becoming the next contenders, possibly becoming the next prime minister. The spokesperson for the Sunak leadership campaign said the only thing that should matter in recruitment is the content of your character. Well, I mean, well, hold on, not your sex or the color of your skin. I mean, he's not. I mean, he's not entirely wrong, but I mean, obviously, it kind of plays in the factor that you would see the majority of the recruitment for the RAF are white British men. I mean, I think that should tell you that, of course, many people within native people within this country actually want to go out there and try and defend their country. But of course, that's not good enough when it comes to these higher ups. What's more important is that we need those diversity quotas. We need those black people. We need those women. We need those Asians. We need those Muslims in the fray. I wonder if they would maybe need people in wheelchairs next. Just to fully complete the whole diversity shit. All of that. That the Ministry of Defense would allow Britain's security to potentially be put at risk by a drive for so-called diversity is not only disgraceful, it is dangerous. An RAF spokesperson disputed the allegations, where they write, or they say, there is no pause in Royal Air Force recruitment and no new policy with regards to meeting in year recruitment requirements, the spokesperson said. Royal Air Force commanders will not shy away from the challenges we face building a service that attracts and recruits talent from every part of the UK workforce. As with the Royal Navy and British Army, we are doing everything we can to encourage recruitment from underrepresented groups and ensure we have a diverse workforce. So much so they actually have advertisements for this. In fact, I actually remember I covered this on, I think it was episode 2 or episode 3 of Mood of the Nation, where I would go over all these army recruitment videos from Russia, China, and of course in America, and in some cases in Great Britain. And it's like the contrast is completely different. Like it's like night and day. It really goes to show just how completely screwed the UK army and the American army. If an all-out war broke out, we'd be fucked. Well, I'm sorry to be as blunt as that, but we would be absolutely fucked to high heaven. Chief Mooney, how far the RAF have fallen by Kingdom of Villain? I know it's beyond a joke at this point. Like I said, if there was an all-out war to happen, yeah, then we're done. Essentially, we'd be already taken over by either Russia or China, for that matter. Let me see. The Royal Air Force has a well-earned reputation for operational excellence that is founded on the quality of all our people. We will always seek to recruit the best talent available to us. There we go. More of it, of course. But another of the defense sources insisted that there has been an effective pause on making an offer of employment to white male recruits. Also responding to questions from Sky News on the issue, a spokesperson for the Ministry of Defense said, operational effectiveness is of paramount importance, and no one is lowering the standards to join the Royal Air Force. The RAF recruits for many professions and, like the rest of the armed forces, is determined to be a force that reflects the society it serves to protect. Right. Okay. Neither spokesperson addressed the resignation of the head of RAF recruitment. The RAF does not typically comment on individuals' woefulness or woefulness. Successive governments have been challenging all three armed services, the RAF, the Army, and the Royal Navy, for years to improve their diversity statistics in what has traditionally been a predominantly white male profession. It is a goal championed by Defence Chiefs Admiral Sir Tony Radakin. Radakin, that's quite a weird last name. Anyway, the head of the armed forces used his first public speech in post last December to stress the importance of striving for better diversity. Like, this is just beyond a joke at this point. Come on. He said this was not about woefulness, it is about woefulness. The woefulness of too few women, the woefulness of not reflecting the ethnic, religious, and cognitive diversity of our nation. But the fact with Britain, it's like it's a white nation, or like England, Scotland, Wales, etc., are white nations. I mean, can we just accept that fact? It should be a white majority nations all across the Great Britain, of course. Let me see. The MOD has announced it aims to increase the ratio of female recruits coming into the armed forces in general to 30% by 2030, from around 12%. The RAF, which was the first of the services to open all roles to women and already has the highest ratio of females, is aiming to go further. It wants the ratio of female Air Force recruits to hit 40% by the end of the decade, more than double the current level. The target for ethnic minorities is to reach 20% of all Air Force recruitments within the same time frame, up from around 10%. Yet the RAF must also hire. How long is this article? Sorry, I think we're halfway through it. Sorry, one second here. The target for ethnic minorities is to reach 20% of all Air Force recruitments within the same time frame already. Yeah, the RAF must also hire enough people in the right trades to meet its operational inflow requirements. The number of new personnel needed to ensure the service can carry out the full range of tasks it has been given to help keep the UK and its allies safe. But see, this is a part of the problem with the whole diversity quotas. They're trying to make people feel equal, as if we're all one race, the human race. It just doesn't work. We've already established many times that it just doesn't work. I mean, we've seen there's clearly big differences between the races, between whites and blacks and Asians, etc. I mean, they can try all they want, but it's not going to happen. It really isn't just going to happen. Let me see here. Challenge thought to be encouraged by recruitment officers is that women and ethnic minorities do not typically seek to join certain areas of the service. Well, of course, as we just established, it's always been like a white male dominated type of type of area. Most people, like white males from Britain, would be recruited to the RAF because they're the ones that seem to be interested, and often they themselves are the ones who want to defend their nation. So the fact that they're pissed off, the fact that not enough black people or women that are getting signed up, maybe it's just because that they just are not really interested. Especially when it comes to, say, minorities, like black people, for instance, they don't really see themselves as British. I mean, they'll call themselves British citizens and probably take advantage of our services and all of that, but even they themselves don't see themselves as British. They see themselves as African or Pakistani or so on and so forth. Let me see here. Where was I? Oh yeah, here we go. I think that was here. Typically seek to join certain areas of the service, such as the RAF's infantry force that protects airfields. Hiring white men who may apply ensures those vital roles are filled, but at the expense of diversity numbers. Levels of ambition for ethnic targets are absolutely crazy. Senior leaders appear to be prioritizing diversity over operational needs, according to defense sources. They said the RAF's recruitment arm has effectively been told to take a pause on offering jobs to white male recruits in the hope that more slots can be filled by women and ethnic minorities during this financial year. And there's a quote from them. we are all really pro diversity and we want to see better representation across the services, but levels of ambition for ethnic targets are absolutely crazy. One of the sources said, uh, there is there is no scientific or cultural background to these particular levels of ambition. Another source called the diversity targets impossible. The push appears to have prompted the head of recruitment and selection, a group captain, to hand in her notice, unwilling to carry out such a demand. The defense sources said. More broadly, there seems to be a growing sense of frustration within the RAF at what some personnel privately, uh, at what some personnel privately and on occasion publicly allege is an overly woke agenda being pursued by the chief of the air staff at the expense of other priorities. Well, that's exactly what it is. It's all about subversion. It's all about dismantling the British Army, the RAF, and so on and so forth. It's ultimately all about subversion. It's trying to dismantle everything that makes the British Army or the RAF for what it is, and just completely demolishing it and trying to make it into something that it wasn't meant to be, but then trying to put on like a sticker or a label of diversity and all of that. So the defense sources noted how under his 10 years since 2019, the RAF has taken steps to be more inclusive, such as changing the term for a member of the service to uh, aviator from airman aviator from airman, embracing gender-specific or gender-neutral pronouns in the signatures and allowing staff to grow beards. Flying training in crisis. But at the same time, the military's flying training system, a fundamental part of the functioning Air Force, is in crisis, as revealed by Sky News earlier this month. Hundreds of junior pilots are either waiting for slots of course to open courses to open up, or taking refresher courses, even though Ben Wallace, the Defense Secretary, gave Air Chief Marshal Wigston the task of fixing flying training as his only priority more than 2.5 years ago. The RAF itself triggered a rare public display of internal tension last weekend. It posted its response to Sky News' reporting on the military flying training shambles on the Air Force's official Facebook page, defending the RAF's record. There's a quote, of course. Our people are our greatest asset, and we are committed to ensuring we attract and retrain the best and brightest talent to meet current and future threats, the post said. It acknowledged challenges within the training pipeline, but said work is underway to improve things. The comment prompted a number of incredulous responses from readers. A quote from one reads, is this post from a parallel universe or something? Another said, if you want retention, then you need to drastically change things at all levels within the RAF. Your people are your greatest asset. Start treating them that way. A few more unfriendly jibes. The RAF quietly deleted its own post. That's quite tragic, that. Anyway, well, there you go. So the RAF has gone fully woke, apparently. So instead of actually hiring people who are actually legitimately interested in being part of the RAF and wanted to defend their own nation, apparently we have to put them to the side now. And what's important is we want to hire more black people, more whites into the RAF, despite the fact the majority of the time those people themselves are not really that interested. But there we go. Really ugly truth. Thought gun. Oh dear. English rules real quick. BAME are told all their lives how Britain is racist and they are institutionally and historically oppressed. Why would they want to fight for it? Exactly that. Well, even adding on to that, why don't they just go back to their own ancestral homeland or even their continent? But that's because they feel entitled to not only live in these white countries, but they feel they're entitled to benefit from what we've built, basically. That's really the bottom line of that. So So the RAF has gone full anti-white. I'm disappointed. Well, I mean, I think to be honest, it's not really much of a shock at this point. All institutions are very anti-white. Our education system, our military, our all businesses, and all of that have all become very anti-white. It's not really much of a surprise anymore at this point. Anyway, 18 minutes past 8. So I think I will. What is BAME from Ochai? BAME is basic from what I know is basically a way of it's basically like a non-white community kind of an idea. So BAME, Black, Asian, Muslim. I think the M is and E is ethnicity. I think it's supposed to be. Again, it's supposed to be like a community for like non-whites, essentially. At least from what I've heard. Someone in the chat might want to correct me on that, but that's what I know of. What in regard to what BAME is, so. Kingdom of Finland, Chief Rooney. I'm not saying I'm surprised because I'm not. I'm just disappointed. No, that's definitely fair. That's definitely fair. Oh, Shrieky Bacon corrected me with that. Yeah, Black and minority ethnic. Yeah, that's what BAME is. Yeah, so Black, Asian, and Middle Eastern. Right, fair enough. Spot on. What was it? Obsidian said. 1 second here. Oh, it's all UK. Yeah, I agree. Let me see. Yes. BP Jordy, thank you for watching Mood of the Nation tonight. Black, Asian, minority, ethnic. Yeah, right. I thought the M might be Muslim, but anyway. Thanks. Asians, hopefully not including Japanese. Well, I wouldn't imagine the Japanese, but I mean, I don't know about like Japan because I mean, I from what I've seen, Japan seems to be slowly but surely becoming a lot more woke. Because I was pretty surprised when the whole BLM protests were going on. Well, I say protests. It started off as protests, but then became riots that happened all across the West, especially in America and Great Britain. But I was surprised to see that there was a lot of BLM or George Floyd protests going on in Japan and also South Korea, which I was like, but those are like predominantly Asian countries. They don't really have a lot of black people there. Like, why are they like supporting George Floyd? Like, I don't fucking know. I really have no idea. It really gets the noggin jogging there, but anyway. What are my future plans? This is not a question to be brought up in the chat. This is something that kind of came up. It's something that I've been thinking about for a while in terms of like future episodes and all of that. So, maybe I'll have a guest on for Sunday. I'm not entirely too sure. I did say that on the last episode I'll have a guest on for tonight, but I mean, never really got around to it. Not entirely too sure who would like to come on, but I'll see if I can maybe get someone on at some point. Although that being said, I actually cannot believe, almost forgot to mention, we're about 2 episodes away until we reach episode 100, folks. I actually cannot believe it's approaching that time that we're almost approaching about 100 episodes and all of that. So 8:21. So what I will do, folks, is that I think we'll end the stream at around about 8:30. Because I mean that's all I have to cover tonight. It might be a bit short and sweet. But we'll see with that. Unless people in the chat, is there any more questions to ask me? I mean, I would greatly appreciate that. You can just pop in the question in the chat just now, and I'll be happy to answer them. In the meantime, if you enjoyed the stream, please give it a like if you haven't done so already. If you would like to support me financially, as I mentioned, I already receive a £5 donation, which I'm not going to mention the name just in case if they don't want their name read out or anything like that. I greatly appreciate your kind generosity. If there's anyone else who would like to support me financially or give a donation during the show, then you can just donate through Coffee or even PayPal directly, which links will be down in the description down below there. Again, please don't feel obligated as if you have to donate. If you want to, the option is there basically. But hopefully you've enjoyed the episode with that. So Illuminatus with the 4. Chief Moody, what is your favorite color? I mean, I would say it's a very simple question with that, but it kind of changes from time to time. Sometimes my favorite color would be, well, when I was a bit younger, it would be red. Not because of the communist implications or anything like that at all. It was just like in general kind of an idea. Then it changed from that to blue, and then later on it would be green. So I don't really have a particular favorite color per se, but maybe I'll say, just for the hell of it, I'll say white because it's pure. I'll just say that. Is there more with that? Chief for Kingdom of Inland. Chief Moody, do you think it would be possible to use Jason's going free to counter the anti-whiteism that is sadly prevalent in the armed forces of our countries? I could see that. Yeah, I mean, it's something that I know that Jason or No White Guilt definitely promotes an awful lot, especially on his show, Going Free. Yeah, I definitely would agree with that, especially when it comes to these institutions, because a lot of the words being used to be against us. Well, I think there was even one point he talked about that the term Karen, like Karen, seems to be a very anti-white phrase because of the fact that um, I'm sorry, I'm just looking through Woodland just to joke. Black, like the lighting. Well, I have tried to improve the lighting quality. I do try. Well, then again, I mean, Sam I don't know if he's still watching the show just now, but he has came up with the idea of we should do a moody lighting fund. Which, I mean, if you want to maybe donate for that, for me to maybe improve my lighting quality and all of that, you can definitely donate to me within the links down below. Again, if you want to with that. So that donation can maybe go to something better, like say lighting or maybe better equipment, say a better camera with that. Nothing like too much or anything like that at all. But however much you give me, that would be much greatly appreciated. So but thank you for that comment with Lander. So yeah, so going back to what I was saying about to answer Kingdom of Vinland's question, and then I'll answer Uchiai's channel question in a moment. So yeah, I think when it comes to the term Karen, it seemed to be very anti-white because again, Karen seemed to be a very white name. So with that, so yeah, I definitely do think that we definitely should counter the anti-whiteisms with what Jason normally promotes in his show regarding to that. Right, Uchiai, what's your question? I hope I answered your question in Kingdom of Inland. So, but thank you for the question. Chief Rudy, do you talk about how some vegans spill milk in some meat shop or whatever? I didn't talk about that, but I have seen that video, and I have to say it's just one of the, it's just cringy as fuck, isn't it? I mean, I talked about this before when it comes to the whole class issue with that, and I know that not all middle class people are like this, but the majority of the time, let's just be honest here, the majority of the time here, most of these people who go to these lefty demonstrations, like doing the whole vegan shit and all of that, are mostly people who are from the middle class. Now, again, I know that may come off as like very classist and all of that, and I know that that's something that our enemies tend to do, but and I know that not all middle class people are like this, but let's just be brutally honest here. The majority of the time, most of these people who are part of these lefty groups or whatever tend to be very middle class. Never really worked a day in their lives, never really went through any type of issue or never had any real suffering in their lives or anything like that at all. They seem to be pampered people. To be quite frank, I would imagine these vegan types or vegetarians who are defend the animals, all of that. I would imagine those are the same types of people who are massive LARPers. Because let's just be honest with this part here, right? See if shit hits the fan with the world, right? We instead of living in I don't know, a House of Cards type of society, but instead we went full Mad Max, like a full-on post-apocalyptic future. Do you really think that these vegans and all of that? Do you think in a post-apocalyptic future they'll continue on being vegans or in order to survive? No, no, I don't see that at all. One way or another, I think they will completely denounce their principles just for the sake of survival, just for the sake of survival with that. Or they might kill themselves, or they might die, because they get murdered, or whatever, or might become sex slaves in the post-apocalypse. You never know, but if that were ever to happen in that time with these vegans, they would never ever follow their own core principles. Like I said, this is why whenever you see clips like these, I tend to find them a lot more, not just cringy, but I find them funny because they're clearly just LARPers. They don't really follow their own core principles. It's kind of like that group, Extinction Rebellion or something like that, where they preach about the environment, we need to turn off lights or whatever, not use so much electricity. But we all know for a fact that these daft cons normally use it like don't really follow their own principles whatsoever. They expect you to do to basically live how they want you to live, but will they themselves actually live by their own principles? Nah, they wouldn't. They would not. English Rose, you are not wrong, Chief Rooney. A lot live in a different world. Yep, indeed. So hopefully that answered your question, Ochai. Was there a question before, or sorry, just afterwards? Yeah, see the Woodlanders comment again. I hear when our people use Karen, it is just another anti-white stick to beat people with. Exactly, BP Jordy, exactly. I'm going to post you a candle. Thank you, Woodlander. I appreciate that. Ugly Truth, Chief, Ready, tell us about on your major red pill moments. Oh, how I became red pilled. Well, I think I might have covered that in my speech during the PA Spring Conference earlier this year, back in March. In fact, you could definitely watch that video on the PA, the official PA Odysee channel if you guys want to. But just for the sake of that, just to answer it, maybe we can kind of go far back as to I became more back then, like red pilled. When I became more of a Sifnat. Was post at Gamergate when the whole feminism movement was becoming a thing. Sorry, excuse me again. And I started to get into feminism and what it's really about. Like putting men down and all of that. Basically typical Sifnat bullshit. Where I became fully red pilled was back in 2020 when I saw the riots that happened in Minnesota, I think it was, in America. This was, of course, post George Floyd when that whole fiasco happened, and that really woke me up to a lot of things, especially when it came to the subject matter of race. Another thing that happened, and I think this was just on the rise. It was the whole critical race theory, how it was just an attempt at just shitting on white people, white culture, and all of that. I would say that was something that pushed the whole the major red pill thing, or like an awakening, if you will. Another thing too, as I mentioned previously before, especially in my speech, a major red pilling moment for me was the debate between Laura Towler and Ricky Doolan. Now, Ricky Doolan being a civic nationalist, Laura Towler, who I have watched videos of her prior to that debate, which I do like, and I was like, well, these are pretty interesting. Because even prior to that, I did watch a lot of debates with Sargon versus Richard Spencer. I've watched the debate with Sargon the Vacad, again with Andrew Anglin at the time. I've even watched some Mark Collett's videos in the past before becoming a full ethno-nationalist. I even watched debates with Mike Penovich, or at the time he was known as Mike Enoch. I remember watching that. Dracula, what's with the comment Dracula? What, because I'm in the dark or whatever? I don't know what that's about. But anyway, loving the beard, mean that. Oh, thank you very much. I think it's slowly but surely kind of growing back, but maybe at some point I'll need to get that trimmed again, but we'll see with that. I miss Ricky. I mean, I don't know really what happened to Ricky Dillon. He just kind of pretty much like is no longer seen. It's just completely wiped off the face of the map. Let me see. Gamma Sandwich. Chief Rudy, I've made my mind up. I'm sending you one of my spare torches, mate. Can't be watching you in sepia effect all show again. Oh, well, thank you very much, Gamma Sandwich. Let me see here. Rigor Mortis, Chief Rudy, do you know of any planned groomer hours scheduled in Scotland? Funny enough, there actually was never an event being held in Scotland. It's always been in England or Wales. I don't know about Northern Ireland. I don't think there was anywhere like that at all. But it was never an event ever held in Scotland, which I thought was a bit bizarre. Because again, you think with Scotland trying to be the opposite of England, quote unquote, you think Scotland would push that type of shit, but surprisingly not. There's no any events being held, or at least for what we know of. I don't know if there's going to be an event being held, but even if there were to be an event held in, I don't know, Glasgow or Edinburgh or anywhere like that at all, any of the major metropolitan cities, I would be the first to be there to be the protesters. You know, we don't want any of this degenerate shit being taught to our children. So, but no chance. Does someone say Ricky Doolan? Oh yeah, indeed I did. No chance. Yeah, I watched your video again where you made the video of like post that debate, and you made that video about that. Again, it's still a classic. I would definitely say. I haven't checked out your recent video about the drag queen. I'll definitely check that out, possibly even after the show. Was there maybe another question? Hopefully that might answer your question, Rick and Morris. There, so you're right there. You're right though, Moody. Most of these shit-lib protesters are upper middle class, who've never lived in the real world or anywhere near diversity to feel its negative effects. Exactly that. How do I find your chat on Telegram, Chief? Yeah, hold on one second, Keith. I'll just see if I can post that link, and I'll post it in the chat. So that way, if you want to follow me and get any future updates from myself on my Telegram page, then you can just follow me there. Hold on one sec. Let me see. Yeah, copy the link and I'll post it in the chat. And that goes for anyone as well who hasn't followed me on Telegram as of yet. If you want to follow me there, here's the link for my Telegram page, and you'll be able to find me there. And even if it comes up, it'll come up as Chief Moody official channel. That's definitely the channel you would follow me on. Or at least my official channel where I give updates and everything. Sometimes might give my takes on certain things and all of that. That's where you'll find me there with that. So if you haven't followed me there, please follow me there if you can. Again, just for future updates and whatnot. Toby Radley, just real quick. Sorry, Ricky has a new YouTube channel. Look him up. Oh Jesus, does he? I'll look up in a moment here. But I just want to answer a couple more questions if there were in the chat. Let me see. Krogan vid on Jordan Peters on and the JQ gave me the last big red pill. I needed to put me on the path to becoming an nationalist and understand historic revisionism. Fair enough. I think part of what to do with it for me as well was that all of these like Sipnat types who are who are like pro free speech and all of that. But then when shit hits the fan, they really do showcase their true colors. They're basically complete LARPers. And when it comes to all the problems going on at the moment, they themselves talk about the problems, but never really give an actual solution to the problem. Whereas when it comes to ethno-nationalists, of course, people within our circles or whatnot, or even just simply nationalists, at least they actually do give a bit, an actual solution to the problem that what we're facing just now. So, there we go. I so enjoyed the Doolin debate. Hilarious, 8 million and 8 million Jews dead. Yeah, I know, right? It's quite funny that, because I was like, wait a minute, I thought it was 6 million, but okay, Ricky. So, oh god, no, I don't know if I should maybe put that on screen, but also then advocate. I appreciate that. It's a funny comment regarding to that. Ricky 8 million Doolin. I so enjoyed, with that. I hope Ricky gave Trigger his suit back. He's on a mission from God, Chief. Oh, there we go. Let me see. I was red pilled in 1974, age 14, when I read Oswald Mosley, Right or Wrong. Fair enough. Fair enough. Ricky Doolin vanished up his own irrelevance, never to be seen again. They are weighed down by their privilege, so they will literally destroy our culture because they don't realize they are brainwashed. Fair enough, fair enough. Was there maybe, like your recent vid about that degenerate ship battle, this is in response to No Chance, fair enough. Let me see. The lighting is so train spotting. It's a very gritty look, very gritty look. They have to go back. Exactly, they definitely have to go back. Let me see. Pro free speech until wasteism. Exactly, exactly. Let me see. Chief Woody, do you think Jason's method would avoid the UK's anti-white hate laws? Possibly, I mean, it's not like it's anything harmful or anything like that at all. So yeah, I would definitely say it would be very beneficial to avoid the law if necessary. So, because again, it's not like he's promoting violence or anything of the sort. So I mean, not that we would advocate for violence of any kind or anything like that at all. But yeah, I mean, I definitely say that's a good shout with that. Definitely. God almighty, Toby. Let me see here. Thanks, joined your channel. Thank you very much, Keith Grant. Greatly appreciate that. Let me see. Okay, I'll respond to that in a moment. That's fine. It's just approaching 22. Well, right then, folks. I think. Maybe I'll wait for a couple more minutes, and just in case if people actually want to, ask some further questions or anything like that at all, and then we'll see from there with that. Really do appreciate everyone coming along. I really do enjoy the streams. I actually cannot wait for episode 100. I know I'm going to do episode 99 this coming Sunday. And I was going to say as well, I'll probably say it again, of course, in the next episode. But episode 100 is supposed to be live on, which date would that be? On Thursday, next week on the 25th. But I'm going to postpone that for Sunday. For Sunday, the 28th of August. That way, more people would come along and watch the show then, and then of course we'll see from there. Of course, now I do know. I think there'll be people coming along as potential guests, like many people at the same time. I don't know how many, but we'll definitely see. I know Joe will be on the show, whether it be for the entirety of the show, maybe for a short period. But we'll definitely see with that. Let's see. Can't believe you've not been booted yet. 100 not out. I know, which is quite surprising that. But I mean, to be honest with that, I'm probably not as like a big named content creator, especially within the national circles. But you never know. Maybe one day, but we'll see with that. Do we all get kicked out of the chat at episode 109? That's pretty funny. That I should name the episode that getting Mood of the Nation episode 109 getting kicked out. that would be the episode title. That will be it. Let me see here. I look forward to episode 110, the final episode. Based. Let me see here. Let me see. Is that an ale? I now want an ale. Oh dear. Blood test. Right. Okay. Right then, folks. I think what I'll do is I'll just call it a night there. It's approaching 8:45 anyway. Like I said, I don't really have any other articles to talk about. That was pretty much it. And I think I've pretty much answered the questions being asked. So yeah, that will be it for tonight. We'll make tonight's episode very short and sweet. How about that? So if you haven't done so already, please like the stream. Follow me on Telegram and Twitter. Oh, hold on one second. Bill Athling. Twilight descends on the Chief's cabin in the woods. Without electricity, this woodsman relies on the sun to delight his days and the moon to guide his evenings. Exactly that. Dear. Well, then again, how am I able? If it's without electricity, how am I able to do the stream then? I mean, if never mind, never mind. Right then, that will come to the end of tonight's episode. So we'll just make it short and sweet with that. How about that? Please subscribe to the channel if you haven't done so already. Please follow me on all other platforms like Telegram, Twitter, Gab, Instagram, if you still have it. Odysee as well, just in case if something does happen to my YouTube channel one day, at least you'll follow me on there for future content. And lastly, as I mentioned previously a couple of times throughout the stream, for the person who donated £5 to me just earlier on, thank you very much for that. I greatly appreciate your generosity. And for everyone else, if you'd like to support me financially of any amount, if you want or can, you can always donate to me through through my coffee page or my PayPal link, which the links will be in the description down below just now. The option is there. If you want to donate, that's great. If you don't, that's again also great with that. Your generosity is greatly appreciated with regard to that. Any amount would be greatly appreciated, of course. Thanks, Chief. Great stream and chat. Great show, Chief. Thank you, Tim Seymour. I don't know if I just came across you as well. I don't know if you asked a question or anything like that at all, but sorry, just bear with me just a second, folks. I'll come to this in a moment here. I don't know if I may have missed it. If I missed it, my apologies. But just a table lamp behind the device you're using, Chief. That's actually correct. That's correct, Tim. That's absolutely correct. Now, the length of it is not actually very helpful, but I did try it. I mean, even see it's kind of approaching like that. I'm actually surprised at that, Tim, but thank you very much for that. 14 with that. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. I enjoyed this chat. Thanks, Chief. No worries, Keith. Thank you very much for being here. Let me see. Excellent. Right. Toby, I'm going to see if I can find your remix real quick, and then I'll play it for the outro of the song. Bear with me just now, and then we'll end the show there. I think I could find it here, and then that way we'll play it out for the show tonight. Oh yeah, there it is. I found it. Right, perfect. Okay, dokie. Let me see here. Oh, I hope it's not playing the full length of it. One sec. Right, if I could maybe... Damn it, didn't mean to do it. So maybe... I don't know. I'll see if I can maybe... I'm sure I can play it with a background kind of thing, because obviously being Telegram, I want to see if I can get this up here. Maybe I can get the logo for Mood of the Nation popped up. That might be pretty decent. Which one is... yeah, that'll be fine. Okay. Anyone else streaming tonight? Who normally streams? Oh, well, I know. I think Renew Britannia is still live at the moment, so you want to check Russell's stream. Definitely check it out there. I think that's going to be maybe. I'm sure people in the chat might input who's actually going to be streaming. Maybe John Davidson might be streaming, but we'll see with that. Anyways. Everyone else, thank you very much for watching tonight's episode. I'll be back on Sunday at 5 p.m. with episode 99, and then we'll see you with that. So again, thank you all very much for watching. This is Chief Moody signing out. You have been watching the Mood of the Nation podcast, and I will see you all in the next episode. Take care, stay safe, and enjoy the rest of your evening. Thank you, and good night. Take care.
enter my growth with feelings of hope. This path will show. Inside and I feel that you're close to pages of prose and a book diary close. You're under my skin and the space that's within. I know where you've been. The weight's on my back, compressed to retract and pulsing my path. The numbers repeat, expand and retreat. You know where I've seen.